So, if you remember, not that long ago, we were talking about an absolute dumpster fire called The Rings of Power from Amazon. Well, they got a lot of backlash because they decided to update their casting for modern audiences, as they call it, right? Well, there was a lot of backlash that got kind of labeled and taken down, in which all nuance is removed, and they pretend as if like you didn't have a reasonable take and say that you're just saying things because you're racist. Well, it says Rings of Power star Ishmael Cruz Cordova says Amazon hired an on-set therapist to deal with racist backlash. Shocking that, like,
against its inclusive and diverse casting. He said, you need support when this happens because the voices are so loud and they're coming at you from so many places.
Technically, they're not loud at all because they're not actually voices. They're words on the internet. So
they're
you're
tweets.
Actually, yes, they're tweets. The tweets don't have voices unless I guess you have voice to text and it reads them to you.
He said,
like
the
Siri.
therapist's presence alone was beneficial. Quote, I loved seeing her there, even if we didn't speak.
He's like, he's like, look, I'm not a pussy. But
I knew there was someone there seeing me completely. It wasn't just an actor. You sound so gay.
Wait,
I need to be seen, heard, and validated.
Seen, like, why would the therapist be able to see you any more completely than an actor you don't know very well? Like, why is a therapist you don't know very well?
Isn't acting all about being seen anyway?
Yeah, like, why would a therapist you don't know be able to know you or see you any better than an actor you don't know?
Just channel the pain from being cyberbullied into your acting.
Yes.
They didn't do that.
He's like, I was the worst Aaron Deer and everyone was mean to me.
He actually did, like, not the worst
No,
job.
he wasn't. He wasn't the worst by far. Like, I mean, I still hated Galadriel more than anybody in that show. Galadriel could, like, if anybody could kick rocks and not show up in season 2, it would have been Galadriel. But I thought he did fine, and, you know, he got the love interest with the lady who I liked. Who, by the way, I saw in something else recently. The lady who played, I don't even remember the character's name now. The actress's name's Nazneen or Nazine.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Bronwyn, yeah.
Why did I remember that?
Bronwyn, Bronwyn the horrible, as in horrible at giving speeches that actually inspire people, because it was a bunch of, like, this speech where she gives from, like, a balcony, and she just sounds timid as a mouse, and now the poor actors who have to pretend like they've been inspired.
She barely raised her voice.
She's like, go forth.
And Aaron Deer was basically her silent boy toy on the side.
So, look...
As I said
earlier, look, you have to get used to people saying mean things about you or having negative things to say about you, right? Like, I make the choice here. Like, after the show, I go through some of the comments because I'm editing, and a lot of times you refresh and you just go through a little bit of it. But I don't go delving deep into everything people have to say about us. One, because it's unproductive. Two, it's not going to make me do my job any better. Like, unless it's something where somebody corrects the mistake, like the Little Mermaid thing, and you catch something like that. But in general, they always used to say, like, you have to have a thick skin to work in publishing because people are going to critique your work. It's like they've lost the ability to do that in any industry.
Yeah.
Whether it's publishing, whether it's entertainment, whether it's politics, nobody has a thick skin anymore, and you just have to learn how to deal with it. Like, I don't like getting that stuff either, obviously in a much smaller scale, but you either just don't read it or you find a way around it. It's just the way of the world. And you certainly don't expect we're going downstairs after this. I'm like, Tim, I want a therapist, and I want him to sit right up here in the studio when we're doing this show, because in case somebody says something mean to me, which they inevitably will, I want to be able to give my feelings to them.
These people just kind of don't understand the psychology of trolls, because if you let them know that they're bothering you, that they're having an impact, that's only going to egg them on further. But he openly admits it here. It says the therapist was brought on board when production resumed shooting after pausing during the pandemic. Cordova's character, Aaron Deer, was the first person of color to play an elf on screen in the Lord of the Rings universe. It hurt, he said, of the backlash. It had a psychological and mental health impact. That's something that I'm very, very open about, so that people understand that what they do and say online really hurts people. It really has an impact on us.
Look, I'm actually not disagreeing that it does hurt people and that it does have an impact. I'm saying that hurt and that impact is your responsibility to deal with, not somebody else's.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is it's unwise to admit that it hurt you because then people are just going to double down.
Yeah. Like that's what the troll wants. The troll wants the reaction more than anything. They don't get whether positive or negative. They like a lot of times you see those things like where like somebody says something really mean to you online and you respond politely and it's like their brain short circuits because they're not used to somebody actually responding politely.
A lot of times when people are trolling me or whatever, I'll just go ahead and I'll like just retweet it.
Yeah.
And then, because there, you know, there's like 125,000 people that follow me, so there's enough people that'll keep them busy.
Yeah.
Because that's really all they want. They want interaction. They want attention. So someone on my follower list will be like, yeah, okay, I'll give you shit or whatever. So you know, it's easy.
What I used to do when like it was less common in skating, but when somebody would say something just randomly snotty, I would just pin that comment on the Instagram and make that the top comment so that everybody could read it. Like, just don't let them know that it shouldn't bother you.
I play music, so there's no way I could pin every bad comment. It'd be changing all the time. That song sucks. This sucks. Blah, blah, blah.
My favorite thing is to like. There's the communities that you like. The firearms community. There's nothing funnier than watching people argue about guns online, than watching people argue about pets online. Like all of these communities where everybody just knows they're right and everybody else is wrong, and you just get the popcorn and watch people argue for hours at a time.
Sometimes hate comments are written like shockingly in a very creative way, which I appreciate.
Good one.
But like it's essential to show that you're able to have a sense of humor about yourself and that you're able to take a joke about yourself, and that's something that it seems like actors are incapable of doing these days, and it's an essential part of showmanship, which is something that you've like harped on so many times. It is important. He said that there were other things than just the cyberbullying, which I understand. He said his phone got hacked. His bank account had attempts of being hacked. His PayPal got hacked.
That's crazy,
his friends got messages.
Like,
he got death threats. He got things mailed to him.
I'm picturing
people found his address.
Some dude dressed as Gandalf, just like hacking away. Look, I watched.
But this is what happens when you attack the fans.
Yep. I mean, yeah. When you blanket,
you attacked them first. It's only a pushback.
Mm-hmm.
The other. Oh, by the way, Phil, when I was watching Enemy of the State, the other great thing about it is they give him the tech dude the yellow sunglasses, which was like code for hacker in the 90s. Like you were a hacker if you had black glasses with yellow tinted.
Also, if you have a hoodie and you put the hood up.
Yeah. With the yellow glasses, right? It's like I'm about to hack Friendster because it's the 90s.
About to hack
and so I'm picturing somebody dressed as Gandalf hacking into a bank, trying to get the Cordova's banking information so that they can be mean to him online further. It's just
perfect.
It is what it is, man. You have to learn how to deal with it, and it is kind of a like for us. Like somebody pointed out yesterday, they're like, look, like I'm sick of these people because we complain sometimes on the show about like I complain sometimes like I'm not making the point I want to make, and mine's more about critiquing my own performance. And they're like, I don't like you guys complaining about having such an easy job. And like, easy, maybe not, but it is silly to not be able to draw the comparison. Like, look, I have it very good. Like as much as I work, as hard as I work, there are people who do backbreaking labor each and every day of their lives, and it's so you have to be aware of the blessings that you have in your life and what you've been given, lest you lose the ability to gain perspective for yourself. Absolutely. So if the price you pay to have a job that is hard work but rewarding and also very, very cool is that people say mean things about you on the internet, then I guess the same should be said for the actor. Look, if you want to make good money and work for a company that just spent $300 million on a show that no one's watching, like Citadel, and you want to ruin Lord of the Rings and you want to make a ton of money doing it, then I guess the price you're going to have to pay to do that is be able to take some pushback online.
Remember when I said that trans actor wasn't originally cast in Barbie, but then sent that letter pressuring them essentially to cast him/her for the role? This similar thing happened with Cordova. He said that he wasn't originally cast and he went back and convinced the producers to reconsider. Like, I love the idea that they just they were like, we were considering you, you're a great actor, but you just didn't pass the paper bag test because elves are supposed to be Aryan white people and you're black, so we don't like you for your skin color. Like, that's not actually realistic to what happened. If anything, they were looking for diversity casting. He said, I grew up with all that rejection all around me. That's something that's driven me. The elves have been historically portrayed as white and Aryan, and I wanted to be an elf. He like gave all of these reasons why he was fit for the role, but they chose him because diversity points.
I mean, that's like the point of Halloween, right? You're allowed to be whoever you want on Halloween. That doesn't mean that's what you do for a fair and accurate representation of a character.
Yeah.
If it would be, and I hate to make this very, very bland and basic comparison, but Mary, it would be like you growing up and you're like, I really want to play Black Panther. I think T'Challa is just the greatest character ever. I identify more with T'Challa than any other superhero. I think that I should be able to play T'Challa in the next Marvel movie. And you go there and you try out. They're like, look, Mary, we did, it's not a paper bag. I don't know what test that would be. We did that test. You didn't pass. And you were like, look.
It's like a whiteout test.
I think I should be able to play this character. Like, well, you've convinced us. We are now going to cast you.
Because it's all about merit and who's right for the role.
Exactly. Mary is the ideal king of Wakanda. Mm-hmm. That you are. So
they're also hinting that this actor is going to get a Marvel role, which is just like anybody can get a Marvel role these days. They choose nobodies.
At this point, I mean,
it's like they're choosing people from TikTok.
Yeah. It's like that's one of those things where it's like now if you're a big enough actor, why would you want to?
Yeah.
Like diversity.
Like Angelina Jolie. Why?
Like I liked it because she was the only good part of that movie. But like in general, they're like we might finally get to see Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, no. First of all, no, you're lying. He would never. That's cap. Like second of all, like why would he ever do that? That his career doesn't need it. Like there was for a long time there was a lot of people saying that like Tom Cruise was going to be like an alternate Iron Man, like in flashbacks or something. Like they were going to do like an alternate timeline Iron Man with Tom Cruise. Is like, why would he do that? Like, why would he do that? It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know why
it cheapens you.
Yeah.
And
for actors of that caliber. For younger actors, it makes perfect sense because it puts them on the main stage. I just saw that Jonathan Majors was out to dinner with his new girlfriend. He's dating Megan Good now.
Okay.
They went to Red Lobster and he brought flowers for his girlfriend, his girlfriend's mom, and his girlfriend's sister. So, suave points to him.
Okay.
He brought bouquets of flowers.
True gentleman.
True gentleman,
He really beat those abuse allegations. He beat them.
Guys, they did go to Red Lobster.
Hey, that's the everyman in him. He's like I may be a rich celebrity, but I'm not a heathen. I'll eat anywhere. Like it's good. It's good. I have no problem with that. If somebody
Red
wants to go to
Lobster biscuits slap.
Yeah.
They are good.
That's probably what he said. he likes things that slap, so he went and got Red Lobster biscuits. That's what he did. That's a problem. Look, Phil, is this the type of thing that you had to learn early on to deal with the criticism?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I've gotten a lot. I've definitely gotten more than my fair share of criticism because in the music industry, like since the aughts, there was people on the left that kind of were sniffing around and starting to do the pushing and stuff like that. So I would catch crap because they would be critical of a song, music or a record or whatever, and then on top of it there was the extra incentive. So I've been taking criticism for as long as I've been in a band because that's what happens when you create things and put it out. People that don't like it want to let you know that they don't like it.
And that's something you have to learn to deal with early, right? Mm-hmm. Look, if you're going to create anything, even something like this where a lot of what we're doing is discussion and critique, you're still actively putting yourself out there every day, and you have to accept that people are going to have their opinions on what it is you say and do. It's actually why we were talking about when you were talking about being on whatever. It's like, look, when you're on something for 4 hours, like if all you can come up with is a critique, is a time where I didn't say something, that's insane. I guess I did pretty well then, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's actually flattering that as much controversy would be drummed up about me, the one who didn't say something, rather than the person who did.
And I'm over here like, look, I say stupid stuff all the time. I stutter and and ah and like my way all the way to stupidity on a regular basis. You just have to accept that people are going to have negative things to say about that, and you move on with your day. Another good way to get over it for these guys would also be get off your phone as much as possible. Yeah. Just stay all like.
How about instead of hiring a therapist on set, you just confiscate all of the actors' phones?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what
it really helps them get in character.
Chris Gore said he would do that. Like if he directed a feature film, he's like, first thing I do is like I go to every actor, like I need the passwords to all your social medias because you're just no, because actors
get full veto power.
Sorry, you just cannot be trusted to not screw this up, as a lot of actors can these days. So. All right, and the other thing I would say about that is like not just about politics, Phil, but about the art. It's not just about about your beliefs. It's also about the art because people want to critique the art.
Yeah, for me, there was definitely, for All That Remains, there was definitely people that were critical of All That Remains just because when we kind of broke onto the scene, it was kind of about the tail end of kind of the metalcore thing. 2006 is when The Fall of Ideals came out, and that was kind of when metalcore had almost jumped the shark. Like if it wasn't for the fact that The Fall of Ideals was a really, really good record, it would have been really totally panned. There was only one bad review for the record, but the review was of the genre, not of the record. It was very much like, metalcore is over, blah blah blah, and they didn't review the music.
That doesn't seem fair either.
No, but that does happen, especially when you are riding a trend. Like that was part of why, like, after The Fall of Ideals, we released songs where I was singing the whole way through, because we were focusing on songs and not focusing on trying to follow the trend, because we could see the trend was, on its way out. So there was a lot of people that were critical of stuff that we put out because of that. But the stuff about the politics and stuff, that was just because that was like the icing on the cake. That was extra reason for them to give me crap. So.
I don't know. Maybe just for the we got a $20 one right there.
Unusable Alpaca said, the cops don't have to read your rights to you. There was a court case about this, and I think the ruling was that you're presumed to know your rights. They will not throw out the case just because your rights are not read to you.
Well, that's a whole host of Hollywood tropes just gone out the window.
No.
All right.
People don't know their rights, though. They almost certainly don't.
There's a reason they got rid of civics from high schools, and they want people dumb and dependent.
They do.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.